August of this year, you were quoted in the press as saying the university deliberately avoided growth after legislators complained the university was going too fast. Yet in your mission statement and the presentation you made in March made no reference to pulling back on the reins of the university's growth. And what I find curious is by March 10th, a lot of your recruitment efforts were already complete because you had already been to Central High School before that, yet there was no suggestion at that time that you were going to pull in the reins on growth.
To beat the dead dog appears, that is such a failed system that I can hardly even listen to anybody talk about they need more money because of that, the peer system. But my issue here is credibility. And we had a tuition freeze when it passed the House. The Senate took it out. In conference committee, we were going to put it back on there. But we were assured by people that there's no way that any campus would ask for more than the allocated 2.5% or whatever it was % increase in tuition. Now, cut programs if you didn't get it. And I'm amazed that not one single board member said, what would you cut? Or could we have a month to think about this? Or could we review your cuts or anything else? And how are we going to next session believe people at the universities and the board if they say this is the tuition that will be set? So I think you've almost guaranteed yourself a freeze. I've even heard talk that during a special session people would like to talk about revisiting that. So I don't know who you talked to, but you could have talked to somebody that's on the conference committee or on the education committee, and I'm sure any one of us could have told you this is the way it's probably going to go.
I don't think that this is an unusual request. I heard during the session that if the funding wasn't somewhat different than what was now being proposed, there would need to be something else done. I think that's what NDSU requested.
I do know that in our caucus, when we had discussion about the higher ed budget, we were told that the conference committee was going to take out the freeze because we were assured that nobody would be asking for more money. And I think a lot of people voted for that with that comfort zone.
I appreciate that concern. It troubles me deeply. But I guess I can only say that the date on the memo, we were following what we were allowed to do. I'm unaware of any negotiation or expectations along those lines. That is news to me. And if that's the basis for concerns, I very much appreciate it. But it was not something I was involved with. What I can say, again, is the first slide indicates the memo where it was requested of the campuses, do any of you have an exceptional situation? And I believe NDSU had a truly exceptional situation. One might even argue, given the productivity and the performance of NDSU right now and what we're contributing to the state, even if there had been a prior expectation along those lines, I think looking at the statistics on this, there is a legitimate exceptional situation for NDSU to have this tuition increase. That is the path I would personally have taken if I had known that, but I have to look at our contributions to the state and my responsibility to maintain those contributions. But we would have had to make core academic cuts. The sorts of things that we're seeing happen in Nebraska and South Dakota, where they're leaving hundreds of students stranded. It'd be kind of ironic at the point in our economy and the success of NDSU, both of which are without precedent, to be doing what's happening in states that are economically tanking.
I was one of those that was quite shocked after we barely left town, or those of you left town, the rate increase. Are you trying to tell us that the State Board of Higher Ed is so out of touch with what's going on at our university systems that they had no idea that the 2.5% was grossly underfunded? In fact, that you had to ask for 3 times the maximum that was presented? Because I am you know, going forward and moving forward, next time we see the proposed budget from the governor and the state board, are we gonna have to multiply that number by 3 again? I'm asking about the disconnect between your needs and the State Board of Higher Ed.